Today we're doing something called magic paragraph. Why do I call it magic paragraph? Well, it's when you take an old, boring, repetitive paragraph and you turn it into an amazing paragraph. And you do it very simply with just a couple skills that I'm going to show you today. We'll start with a paragraph. It's from a cooking school advertisement. Let's read it. Experienced chefs can apply to the program. Inexperienced chefs can apply to the program. You can choose to study European cooking. You can choose to study Asian cooking. In all of our classes, you'll learn essential kitchen skills. You'll also learn how to appreciate the flavors of world cuisine. Everything's correct. There are no problems here, but it's repetitive, right? We repeated, can apply to the program, can apply to the program. Choose to study, choose to study. You'll learn, you'll learn. And it's repetitive, right? So how can we improve it? We're going to use correlating conjunctions. And conjunctions, we remember, are words that help us connect parts. Correlating conjunctions are the same as the old conjunctions that we studied, but we're using two words. For example, both and, either or, not only but also, right? More than two words sometimes. So let's look at it. Both experienced and inexperienced chefs can apply to the program. Students can choose to study either European cooking or Asian cooking. In all of our classes, you'll learn not only essential kitchen skills, but also how to appreciate the flavors of world cuisine. So we're adding these conjunctions. It's making our paragraph sophisticated and interesting too. And at the end it says not only this, but also. It has an extra meaning, right? It means not just something. You're going to also learn this. So it's adding more information. So let's do an example. It gets hard because we have to choose the right verb. Neither my friends nor my sister. What kind of verb do we need? Is it singular or is it plural? It's going to be want. How do we know? We always look next to the word and we find the closest noun. In this case, the closest noun is my sister, which is singular, one. So we use a singular verb. This one is plural, but it doesn't matter. We're looking for the noun that is closest to the verb. Let's try another one. Not only Janice, but also Jim. It's not just Janice, but also Jim. What do we say? Is coming tonight. It seems strange because we have two people, but we use a singular verb, is coming. That's how we do it when we use this correlating conjunction. Both the manager and his assistant, something, what do we need, singular or plural? Visit the factory on Mondays. Now this one is different. When we use both and, we use a plural because it's both the manager and his assistant, two people, visit the factory on Mondays. English is a little bit crazy, right? Right? You think this one is two people and this one is two people, but we use different verbs for these correlating conjunctions. And it's something we just have to practice. It doesn't make sense, but we need to try it. So, last time we studied lesson 17, and I want to review it a little bit before we continue because, of course, you think you're going to remember everything, but after a couple days you forget. You need to bounce back up to 100%. You forget a little bit more, back up to 100%. You can use everything that you've learned in your speaking and in your writing. So last time we looked at this picture in our create section, and if you want to talk about this, how can you describe it? A little girl and an older woman looked at, what, looked at themselves, looked at herself, looked at her other, we say each other. And that's a good way to describe this feeling. She looked at her, right? And she looked at her. They looked at each other. We use that for two people. What about this one? In my country, when people sit down for dinner, they usually serve, what do we think? Serve each other, serve one another, serve, what can we see in the picture? Everybody takes food, right? So we say, serve themselves food. And that's the one that makes sense here. It means he serves himself, she serves herself, she serves herself. Each person takes food for himself or herself, right? So in our last lesson, we watched a video about a hug shirt, which is this strange invention. And students sent me their paragraph. So let's look at one that I liked. In this video, I see the reporter asked the guest about her exhibit. I like this in this video because it adds extra information and tells us the place, and it's kind of inside the video. The lady was so excited to tell the reporter about her invention, hug shirt. So this should be a capital T at the beginning of a sentence. Her hug shirt, we could say the hug shirt. And we do that for inventions, like we say the telephone. Right, we say the personal computer for an invention. She said when some friends hugged each other, so their hugs will reflect on their shirts to cause warmth. Now here, again, we need a capital S. When some friends hugged each other. Now that's a time clause, right? It tells us about time. So, now so is for a result. But actually we don't need it because we already have this when some friends hugged each other, something, their hugs will reflect. Here we have a problem. Hugged is past tense, but will reflect is future tense. Instead, say, when some friends hug each other, present tense. That's a habit. That means every time. Their hugs will reflect on their shirts to cause warm. Now, warm is the adjective, but when we say cause something, we need a noun. So we say cause warmth, which is a noun. In addition, their cell phones will send a message to each other, so they'll get more warm and also vibration in their body. It sounds great. All right, I like that. Thank you for sending it. And if you didn't send a paragraph last time, today we have a new one. It's a video about a lizard that can shoot blood out of its eyes. Okay, kind of crazy. I want you to watch the video, send me a paragraph about the video, and I'm going to write some comments for you on our site in the Your Writing section. You can look at those. So, today's lesson 18. We already studied a little bit about how to do that kind of magic paragraph. But if you listen to me and you don't practice it, it's not your skill. And you can't use it in your speaking and writing. You're going to forget. Basically, today is practice day. Right? How can we do it? Go to our Create section. You can look at this crazy picture. And I'm going to ask you your opinion about this costume. Right? Record your voice, and I'm going to send you a review of your recording. And that way you can practice the skills that you learn. Our 100% review section, there's a speaking activity. I'm going to ask you about customs in your country. Like, in my country, when a hockey game is finished, the players shake hands with one another. Right? We use one another because every player shakes hands with every player. We're using skills from our last lesson to practice. Review, you learn about last time. Learn new material. Practice, you do that with my help. Create, you create your own recording and your own paragraph. And send them to me for review. And 100% review, we practice our skills. Right? So you might listen to a song, you might look at a picture, you might do a speaking activity. They're quick 1-minute activities to help you develop skills. Let me show you on our site where you can find that. Here's our page. When you go to our page, go over here to lesson 18 and you can find those 5 parts that I told you about. Review, learn, practice, create, 100% review. Right? Join our newsletter and I can send you more information and some free practice. Go to our Facebook page. I put up review activities, stuff like that. So enjoy it. I hope you guys have a good time with the lessons and I'll see you next week.